Christine, I've pushed the live.
Okay, thank
So
you.
you're the host now. So can you make me the co-host?
Okay,
Thank you.
sure. And the show.
Got it. Thanks.
Thanks, Michael.
Welcome.
It's too bright. Trying to figure out the lighting. Here we go. Hello, Lynette. Welcome. Please, hi, Janet. Hi, Louise. Please feel free to unmute, open your cameras, say hello. Hi, friends.
Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you? Welcome.
Thank you very much.
I've put, if you can go to the chat, I've put in 2 questions. If you can please open your chat and answer those for me. You can either address it just to me or to everyone. So welcome, Louise. Please feel free to open your mics and your cameras and so I can meet you. Hello, Francine. Nice to see your background.
Hello, how are you?
Welcome.
I don't see the questions.
Okay, the questions are in the chat.
I don't see them either.
It's not there. No.
Okay, let me try again. I put them in and I'll try them again.
Christine, could you
Yeah.
please resend the questions because nobody is able to see them?
Yeah, that's what
They
I'm
joined
doing.
after.
Thanks. Just retyping it.
Welcome.
Okay, I sent them before we launched, so maybe that happened. Now, can you see the questions, everyone?
Yes.
Okay, hi, Jimba and Lita. Well, Lita's not in. Jeannie, welcome. Please feel free to unmute and say hello. Please feel
Hello.
free to Hi, welcome. Please feel free to turn your cameras on and we can meet. And I've put questions in the chat. If you can access your chat and go ahead and answer just 2 questions, just to give me a little bit of information about you. People are still logging. We're going to wait just a few more minutes. Hi, Jeannie, welcome. Please feel free to unmute and turn on your camera. We'd love to meet you.
Yeah, I will in a second. I'm just trying to get some water.
Okay, that's
I'm
fine.
getting
And Lita,
settled in.
okay, I understand. Welcome, Lita, Melinda, Sue. Please feel free to unmute, say hello, turn on your cameras, and also please look at the chat. I've put some questions in just to ask just some brief information to find out who's here today. Hi, Jeannie. Love your sunflowers.
They're actually Black-Eyed Susans.
Oh, they are. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for clarifying. I have sunflowers in my
They
house.
look very, yeah, they look very similar, but
They- yeah.
these are more lower to the ground as opposed to way up in the air.
I see. Yeah, maybe that's what I actually have. I have some artificial ones, so maybe that's what I have. Okay. All right. So let's see. We have a person coming in with a phone number 410. Would you like to, can I add your name in there? Can you unmute and I can rename you so I know your name? Telephone 410 area code. If you'd like to unmute. Anybody else like to unmute? And also in the chat, there were some questions. If you can answer those, that'd be great, just to get an idea where you are. So we'll go ahead and start. I'm glad you're all here today, and we have a lot to go over. So let me get the right, here we are. So just to make sure you're all in the right place, let me just close this. So, okay, so this class is volunteer and remote opportunities, which are basically things that you can do online. So I hope this is the class you thought you were coming to today. So I'm your guide, Christine. I'm in Seattle. I've met some of you before. I'm a retired, but again, working teacher, career counselor. Sorry for the siren going by us there, which I did for teacher 50 years, career counselor 30 years with corporations, including the Boeing Company, and also about 4 universities. Through graduate school, I worked at United Way and I coordinated their volunteer center. So I spent 3 years with them. So I really learned a lot about volunteering. I have a master's degree in counseling and a bachelor's degree in communication. I have been a lifelong volunteer in a variety of ways, which I'll talk to you about. And I've worked with people from all over the world in all types of occupations. And I enjoy learning about people's, all types of what people like to do. So welcome to Get Set Up. Let me just ask, let me stop for a minute. I want to know, is anybody here for the first time? If you could at least, just either indicate a reaction, putting your hand up or letting me know. If you want to unmute, let me know you're here for the first time. Okay, Lynette, you're here for the first time. Okay, welcome. We're happy to have you. And if you if you want to stay on at the end, if you have a minute, I can talk to you more about learning more about Get Set Up, because we have over 300 classes. So welcome.
Sorry. I'm sorry to interrupt you. I take classes on Get Set Up, but this is my first time taking your class.
Oh, okay. That's
sorry,
fine.
I misunderstood the question.
No, it's fine. We just always want to make sure if somebody's here for the first time to Get Set Up. So Sue E, are you here to Get Set Up for the first time?
No, first time with your class.
First time with my class. Okay, fine. We'll just keep going. I just want to make sure. So welcome to all of you, but also we just want to make sure we're checking in with people, whether they're here for the first time. So hold on one second. We'll go back to our slides. 1 second. Okay, so welcome. I'm glad you're all here. And if you can request a recording of this after class, and this is the email, but it'll also be in the email follow-up that I'm going to send to you with lots of resources. If you're on a live stream, the best way to participate is actually register for the class through the website, and Get Set Up is not paid to promote anything that I'm going to talk about today. So our agenda today is talking about what are remote online opportunities, where do I find them, How do I know if the position is a match and how do I apply? So my question is, if you're willing to share, have you applied or worked for an online or remote job, or have you applied or worked for a volunteer opportunity? So any of you, will you share if you have applied or have you worked for a volunteer opportunity? If you'd either raise your hand, or you can use your reaction button, or you can open your mic and let me know. Jeannie?
Yeah, I volunteered with an organization that pretty much closed everything down due to the pandemic. It was an animal rescue group. So
Oh.
everything had to be done through a very small paid staff as opposed to using volunteers. And one of the things I put in the chat, I'm not sure if they're going to go back to the way they worked before, even though things are opening up, because I see that I don't think they're going to use as many volunteers until things get more settled. I also have worked remotely in my job
Okay.
from multiple days a week from years ago, like 3 days a week from years ago, to 1 day a week and possibly more. Right now I'm on a medical leave and we've been working from home. Before that, we were working from home since the pandemic started.
Okay, thank you, Jeannie. Anyone
Sure.
else want to share if they have applied for either jobs or volunteering for remote positions? Or have you been working from home for remote or volunteer positions? Anyone? Yes, the person on the phone?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, hi. I'm actually going to be coming on Zoom. I'm waiting for my computer to kind of boot up, so I figured I'd at least call in.
Okay.
I've never done any remote work before, but with COVID-19, I have been applying, and I've been applying across the country. Haven't had any real great successes. Some people, yes. Some people are like, no, I have too much administrative background. So never done any volunteer work, but I am very much interested in looking at remote work.
Okay. And what's your name?
Yvonne.
Yeah, hi, Yvonne. Thanks for letting me know. So we'll go ahead. I'll just share with you. I have, in the last year, I applied a year ago, applied for 2 volunteer positions online. The interviews were also done through Zoom. One was with Dress for Success, which was a nonprofit that provides clothing to women who are
Yes.
looking for work.
Mhm.
And then the other volunteer position, I applied to be on the board of directors of a jazz orchestra in Seattle, which consisted of 25 board members. And that, of course, all the application is online. And also as I mentioned, the interviews were online. So I was accepted into both of those positions. And then with Get Set Up, I started taking classes from Get Set Up in September. And I loved it so much and realized how much I missed teaching. So I started applying in December, and I became a guide probably in January. So therefore, I've applied for 2 volunteer positions and a job in the last year.
Wow.
So that's what I'm going to talk to you about. Just, my experience, also my experience as a volunteer in general. And before even the pandemic, my last position was a remote position. Yvonne, can I ask you to go ahead and mute now?
I'm so sorry.
No, it's okay. That's all right. Anyway, so I worked for a global relocation firm, and my job as a career counselor was to work with Amazon spouses who were relocating all over the country, mostly to Seattle, where I am. So that one I was doing, I stopped working there 3 years ago, and I was with them for 5 years. And also I worked for a university where I also work with students doing phone calls. So I'm going to talk more about my other volunteer positions, but that's just giving you some ideas that I've done this myself. So 1 second here, let me get back to our screens. Okay. All right. So why work remotely? What I've learned and what I've enjoyed, and that some of you maybe have worked because of the pandemic, so you didn't have a choice. But now that you made, those of you that have a choice and you're thinking about doing this, basically you work on your own schedule for the most part, especially if it's part-time. If it's full-time, depending on the organization. But if you're looking at part-time work, a lot of times your schedule can be flexible. With Get Set Up, I let them know the hours I'm available. So it really depends on the employer. You're choosing the type of work you want to do, like with any type of job. You may have more than one different opportunity, as I have 2 volunteer positions and then this job with Get Set Up, which is definitely part-time. You can work independently or part of it as a team. So most of my work with Get Set Up is working independently as I create and teach the classes. But I also work as part of a team because there are over 30 guides and we do meet and we do communicate with each other. So it's also your decision of whether you want to work for a small employer or a large employer. So I've worked for global companies, I've worked for airlines, I've worked for banks. As I mentioned, the Boeing company, and then I've also worked for nonprofits like United Way. I've also worked for large universities and small colleges. So it's really looking at, as you're deciding where it is you feel most comfortable. So that some of the things that are really critical is that you have a quiet, dedicated space to work. We've all been on Zoom calls where you have people who have distractions, that they haven't taken care of their space to make sure that you can work quietly. You need to have an updated computer that has a good camera and microphone. You must have excellent internet connections. I'm sure you've experienced being on Zoom calls where people's internet connection is going in and out. So those are really important. And it's so important to manage your time and distractions so that when you're scheduling your availability, that your family and your pets and everybody is taken care of. So where do you search? Some people are saying, well, you know, I'm not quite sure what I want to do. So this is a website. Open it here. And I'm going to send you all the links that I'm showing you. So for those of you who are trying to say, well, you know, I'm not quite sure what I want to do, whether it's work or volunteering, this will just give, so this is the U.S. Department of Labor, and it's called the Online Occupational Handbook. And if you're looking for work, this is giving 2020 median pay, and then what you do is go and search for whatever kind of degree you have. If the number, this is going to tell you number of jobs, growth rates. You can look by occupational groups if you're trying to figure out, well, what's out there, or what can I do, or you know you want to do business, or you know you want to do education. So if you click on these, it's going to give you information about jobs within those groups and typical median pay. Again, this is the United States, so that's why you need to look by your own zip code. But at least it's going to give you long lists of job titles for different types of occupational groups. So that is the U.S. Department. So that's the link I'm going to send you, which is this one. And then for looking, I'm going to give you some examples of looking on LinkedIn. So I highly recommend, if you are looking for a paid job, you need to have a LinkedIn profile. So the last company I worked for, they actually found me through LinkedIn. So they're based in St. Louis. They were looking for career consultants in Seattle. So they contacted me by email because they saw my LinkedIn profile and asked if I'd be interested in talking to them. That was a Monday. On Thursday, I had my first interview. On Friday, I had my second interview and they hired me, and I was with them for 5 years. So I didn't even know who they were. So that's the great part about LinkedIn, is that if you have a really good profile, then you can be found, which is the best way to get a job. So I'm going to give you more information on LinkedIn, and we also have a class on creating a LinkedIn profile. I'm going to talk in a little bit about using Facebook to look for positions. Also, Indeed.com. They have a great way to search. If you're a veteran, I have a website I'm going to send on how to look for positions for employers that are recruiting veterans. Also, with each of your states, there is a website. Let me get rid of this here. 1 second. The COVID stuff comes up. That bad? Okay, so in each state, they have what is called a WorkSource office. And basically, this keeps moving, I'm sorry. You put in what you're looking for, and then you put in your zip code, and you could click on Job Seeker, and it's going to help you. It's going to guide you through. Usually these offices are open. So depending again on your city and state, whether those offices would be open or not. But again, I'm going to send you the link. This one I have is actually for the state of Washington. You can go in and look for WorkSource by your state because they're usually federally funded. So those are just a few of the places that my experience that are really good places to start looking. So here is the information on LinkedIn. If you don't have one, I highly recommend you open it up, take a look at it because it's got a lot of resources for you. This is actually one of the ways to use LinkedIn. This is the Get Set Up LinkedIn website. And it's going to talk about the jobs we currently have, but it also tells you about the company, how many people work here. It's actually over 100 now. But using, let me go to, so what I was trying to show you there is that you can look up if you have a company in mind that you want to work for. So this is the main LinkedIn website. If you don't have a current profile, all you have to do is, let me get this out of the way here. You just sign up. And if you can search by job titles, mine is on Seattle, but you can search for anything. They also have ways to learn, but you can just put in job titles and search. But I recommend that you do get a profile. 1 second, let me go back here. I'm going to show you, for example, my link if it'll. So this is mine. This is talking about. So I do have a picture on mine, but it's only showing it because I'm not logged in. So what I've done, it also shows the connections I have because I've been on there since the beginning. And then it's really critical that you put a summary about yourself in relation to the type of work you're looking for. So you can see mine's pretty long because I talk about my current, most recent experiences, and then also my background. So then it also allows you to put in your, basically it's copying and pasting in your resume. You can get recommendations from people, but I recommend you take the LinkedIn class. You need a complete updated resume. I do teach a resume class. I do teach an interviewing class. Again, I'm going to follow up. I'll send you that information. You can search for on LinkedIn for most any site. You can search by position, the exact job titles you want. You can search by industries, like if you know you like banking, or you know you like restaurants, or you know you like hotels, or you know you like airlines, or the specific companies that you're really interested in. And then I'm gonna show you in a minute. Then you're gonna narrow those down by whether they're, some of them call them, most companies call them virtual or online. Definitely read the descriptions carefully, make sure that it truly is a match for what you want, making sure the days they're asking for, the hours they're asking for, what the commitment is, and be clarifying that it truly is online. So Facebook also has, I don't know if any of you have used Facebook to look for positions. So you'd go in, that you can put in the exact type of job you want. You can put in the location, and you can even narrow it down to how far by, within however many miles you want. And then if you can put in salary, here's your part-time positions, and then it goes into the categories, which you can then search for. So if you don't have a Facebook account and you want to try that, you could definitely do that. Check that out, or just check out the opportunities and decide if you want to go through your Facebook position. Facebook is partnered with ZipRecruiter, so you can search for openings. You have to have a complete updated resume. If you have an account, that it fills that in. With LinkedIn, they're searching and looking at the profile you already have. So one of the things you want to make sure on Facebook that you don't have anything in there that you would not want an employer to see. You want to make sure your profile picture is not, you want to make sure it's a professional picture, and especially on LinkedIn, you definitely want to make sure you have a professional picture. And so you just want to check those things out before you start applying for positions to make sure. That's why I'd recommend usually using LinkedIn, because you've already got it set up with a nice, and usually a headshot. What you put for a professional pic is a headshot. You're dressed as if you were going to an interview. So just your head up, not your, and if you go through, I recommend, if you haven't used LinkedIn, to go in and just do searching for people who have this similar type of job that you're interested in, and look at what their profiles look like. So I'm going to stop sharing for a minute, and it looks like we've done. Yes, for LinkedIn, you can definitely adjust, like any website, your privacy and edit the visibility. Absolutely. And LinkedIn has a very, has excellent help. You can, also send a help, but yes, any website you can definitely control. And I would definitely do that. As soon as you've created your profile, whether it's on LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you created it, definitely go into settings and control that. And I think Jean has a question. Do you want to unmute and ask your question?
Yeah, I accidentally hit the heart, but yeah, it seems like you got that off there. I did have a question. Are you going to be sharing links about how to find volunteer information?
Yeah, that's next.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, no, it's okay. This is divided into two parts. It was actually created by Wade, the guide, and this is the way he set it up. And so we're about to go to volunteer next. So we've done half on jobs, and now we're going to go to half on volunteering.
Okay,
So,
thanks.
oh, yeah, absolutely. Feel free to ask questions. So does anybody have any questions? We're going to leave the job part and go to the volunteer part. Anybody have any questions before?
Yeah, where
Yes,
do you,
Jeanette?
on Facebook, where do you find the job section? How do you get to the job? On Facebook?
Okay.
How do you find the section
Okay.
dealing with jobs?
Let me go show you that, okay? I'm going to go back to share.
Thank you.
Let me, oh, absolutely. I'm glad you asked. Okay, let me go back here. Okay, here is Facebook. And so here you see all the things. This is my Facebook. So all these things you have on the left side, are you seeing that, Lynette? And right here is jobs. Can you see that? Lynette, do you want to unmute?
Yes.
Okay, so
Yeah,
all
I
you have to
see.
do,
Right.
so it's the left side of your home page, and then you just click on jobs, and then it takes you to what's currently being posted. You definitely want to put in your city and how far you're willing. This one comes up with 60 miles. I'd never want to go 60 miles from where I live. So definitely, but you can just see what immediately comes up, but that's why you want to go in and change that, okay?
Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Anybody else have any other questions before we go on? Okay, let me go back here.
Christine, it's Francine.
Yes, Francine.
Is there a distinction on LinkedIn between setting a public profile and a profile that only employers can see?
You know, that I can't answer for you, because the whole point of doing a profile is you're also wanting, number one, you're wanting employers to find you. The other thing is networking, because it could be that recruiters may or may not work for an employer. They may be private recruiters who are contract recruiters. So you can still control settings, but as far as you definitely wouldn't, there would be no point in doing a private LinkedIn profile, because the only point of doing it is you're trying to find positions and be found.
Well, if I don't want anyone in the public entering my name in LinkedIn and seeing my resume, and I only want employers to see it, that to me would not be pointless. I mean,
Right. So what you do in your settings, you have, I know you have options. So you just need to go to the settings, privacy settings, and pick the ones that are going to work for you.
okay, but my question is there a setting that distinguishes employers only rather than?
And I
the-
can't answer that
Okay.
for you. I haven't
All right,
looked at that and to know, but either you could contact LinkedIn, but I would try the settings first and see if you can't find your answer, then contact LinkedIn. And then also we have a LinkedIn workshop.
okay, thank you.
But, sure. And at this moment, if you want to wait, I can go look with you at the end, but we're gonna, okay, hold on here.
Christine, I have a quick question before you move on.
Oh, sure.
Hi, for the remote jobs, if you want to look across the country, where it says like search state, do you leave that blank?
I
Or-
probably,
but like-
I probably would. If you're open to moving to any state, I would
Well, no,
definitely.
only for like remote work, because most
Right,
remote work you can
right.
be,
Yeah, and it should be for remote, that may be open, but you just want to check that, because what you'll see, you'll get a lot of filters, which you saw on the Facebook one. And you're going to see, I have one of the volunteer sites I'm going to show you actually is Jobs and Volunteers. So it's what's really wonderful about these organizations, whether it's companies or nonprofits or government, they've made the filters so you can just go through and check. But yeah, if you're willing to do remote anywhere in the country, yeah, it should be pretty open.
okay,
Okay.
thank you.
Oh, sure. Okay, here we go. We're gonna.
I have a suggestion for the person who was talking about the employers seeing it versus the general public seeing it.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe there is a way to restrict that, but really anything you post on LinkedIn, you want it to be searchable by people, because and you need to have what's their professional, unlike Facebook, where you would do social interactions with people and friends. You don't do that on LinkedIn. You just present a professional image.
Mm-hmm.
So it shouldn't matter that, and this is your comfort zone, because I'm not sure if you can figure out who does the employees. A lot of the employers have, oh God, I can't remember what it's called. It's like an upper level account that they pay for.
Yeah.
So
they
you may block it out for the general public and only those people, as opposed to an employer per se. But if you keep it professional and keep it like a job type, not just search, but there's people who post on LinkedIn just to keep up with the industries that they're working in and do the networking. So it is a little bit different than having a public profile on like Facebook.
That's true. And as you saw, I just opened up my LinkedIn, but I wasn't logged in. So in a lot of cases, you have to be a member of LinkedIn. You've had to have your own profile before you can open, and you have to ask, in some cases, you have to ask permission to see someone's profile. So that's why I just recommend, because, I'm sure they're updating their settings all the time. Okay.
And and I haven't gone to Wade's class about learning about LinkedIn. I learned LinkedIn from an outsourcing company when I had lost my job in 2010. So it's there. Usually you're like unemployment offices in Michigan. It's the Michigan Works group that, and I think that would coincide with the link that Christine showed for Washington State. They sometimes do classes, and there's other organizations. I don't know where you're located, but in Michigan, there's a lot, I shouldn't say a lot, because it used to be a lot of churches that would do job searching, and now it's sort of like a one-on-one help. And they'll
Yes.
do some classes like that, and they'll help you
Yeah.
do your resume, help you do your interview. So it's sort of like stepping on Christine's classes, but locally.
It's we're here to referral. That's why I'm referring to state employment offices. And that's why I gave them, I'm be providing the information on WorkSource offices all over the country. When I counseled people being laid off, you bet I worked with them. That's absolutely. Okay.
Yeah, I'm just giving some other resources.
Oh, absolutely. That's what we're here to do. Feel free to put them in the chat also. Okay. On here. Okay, so we're going on to now volunteer position. And why do people volunteer? Most people want to make a difference. I feel it's very joyful to help other people. I'd be part of the community and team, which is what all of my volunteer experiences have been. Be around like-minded people. You get to learn something, use skills you love to use. A great example is I saw on a news program a group of grandmothers who love to sew, and they got together to make quilts, and they would sit even with their masks on and sew quilts because they could be apart. And it was just delightful to watch them do that. So again, it's using skills that you either, like for me, my positions involve my professional experience, but to be able to use your skills that maybe you love music and you want to help children with music or help adults with music, or you love to knit. One of the things that I've heard on the news a lot is homeless shelters. Their biggest request is for socks and caps and things. So people who love to knit, that's one of the best ways they can do that. So these are, as I've mentioned, some of the things I've done as a volunteer. I've talked about the first two. I've also served on the board of directors for my condo association, my career professional association. I've volunteered at my church as a reach out committee member, where quarterly we call our members to check in on them, ask them how they're doing. If they have feedback for the ministers of the church, if they'd like to see us do other things. I've been a group facilitator. I was an usher for 10 years, and I had a great experience of calling a church member who was in Montana. And she had COVID, and she was so happy to get my phone call just to have someone call to check on her. So those are just a few things. So if you belong to a religious organization, you might check with them and find out what kinds of things they're needing. I've taught English as a second language, job search classes, and I've also worked at a food bank sorting food. My younger sister lives in Eastern Washington in a very small town, and she works at a food bank once a week for about 2 to 3 hours, sorting and bagging food. And then she also works for Habitat for Humanity in their thrift store. So again, it's hanging clothes, things like that. Okay. So let me go back here. So these are things to consider about volunteering. You really need to take into account how much time you realistically have each week, month, or year. And that's, as you're looking for positions, one of the things you need to look for is how much time are they requesting that they need you. So for example, for the board of directors, it was typically a board meeting was 2 hours quarterly. I also volunteered to be on a committee, so that took a little bit of extra time, but again, everything was all online and Zoom. Or with, as I mentioned, with my sister, she does 2 hours with one organization, 2 to 3 hours with another organization a week. So it's really being realistic what you feel is going to work, so that as you're looking for positions, if they want someone 20 hours a week, that doesn't work for you, or 10 hours a week, which is kind of unusual. So you want to just make sure. that the time frame works. Otherwise, go on to the next opportunity. Think about the talents that you have that you'd really like to use and what you hope to gain from the experience. If you're more of an extrovert, you want to work with people and they want you sitting and stuffing envelopes, that may not be the best match for you. So make sure it's what you want. It hopefully will help you develop a new skill, meet new people. You're going to have a sense of feeling like you're helping, but also be sure that you're not going to be doing things that you can't do. My younger sister has back issues, so she's limited by the amount of weight that she can lift, etc. So it's just being clear that maybe you want the position, but these are your limitations. You can do other things. So when you identify a nonprofit or government organization and you're offered the position, make sure you understand what the commitment is. Typically, organizations want at least a 6-month commitment. Sometimes they want a year commitment. So it's just making sure that, again, that's going to work for you. If you have a family vacation coming up or you have other things going on, it's just always like you would for an employer, that you're making sure you're letting them know in advance that you're not available for certain times. So it's just making sure that you treat a volunteer position just like a job, that if you're going to be late, if you get sick, that you're definitely keeping up with them and letting them know and being considerate, because you just want to treat it as you would if it were a job and responsible. So here, when I do a class also called Community Connections Volunteering, which is the whole hour is on volunteering. And so these are some of the things some of the people have shared that they've done. Worked at a veterans hospital as a greeter advocate, worked at the Red Cross, Meals on Wheels, delivering meals, voter registration, tutor for schools, whether it's for children, English second language children or adults, classroom helper. One person worked as a clown. That sounds like a really fun thing to do. Advocate for their children, elderly, or animals, either working for organizations directly that work with these people or animals, or that you're working for a government agency on behalf of them, or the Parks Department. So there are city, county, state, federal parks departments. You can check with the ones in your area to find out what they might be looking for. So here are the websites I'm going to send to you. So what you'll do is I'm going to send you 7. I'm going to show you a few things today. And the first thing I recommend is you put in your zip code. And again, as I showed you what the distance is with the jobs, and then the type of position you're interested in and or the cause. So here is, let me open this one, volunteer match. Okay, so this has Seattle, and this is just clicking on finding opportunities for my city. So you can see right here, it says all are virtual only. So I'm going to click on virtual only. It comes up with 359,000. So that's why it's important to put in a zip code, because that's going to limit it a little bit more. And then then the other thing are the causes. So here on any website, you should find this list, which helps you look at, and this, whether you're doing volunteering or looking for jobs, this should give you some ideas of either causes you're interested in or types of positions that you want to do. You can see how long the list is, so it gives you lots of ideas. So that's the causes. The next list, again, any website should have this. So skills. So again, you can see how many options you have. So you can click on any one of these and it's going to take you to that particular topic. The other thing, there are more filters. Again, you can narrow it down by how far you want to be from your zip code. You can also just mark if you just want kids or you want to work with older people, teens, or groups. And then if you only want things related that have COVID, a COVID situation, something about that, you can also just put in a keyword. So if you just want to see, I just want to mentor kids, or I just want to do phone calling to seniors. So that's one. Here is Idealist. And again, I'm sending you all these links. But you can see whether you're looking at jobs or volunteering, there's so many things. So this is the difference with Idealist. All the volunteer links except this one are just volunteering. This one you can actually search for jobs, or you can search for volunteer positions. If you know anyone looking for an internship, you can also search. So you can either just put in skill word, keyword, skill, or what your interest is. Then this gives you more places to search. So right here, we can actually put in, so this is the jobs. I'm going to go, since we're in volunteering, just put volunteering, and I'm going to put mentor just as a topic, and it's got Seattle. So it's going to bring up, and I didn't put in remote. Hold on. It's not giving.
On the left, there's a filter, right, under COVID-19.
Oh, thank you so much. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, here we've got the issues area. Okay. Go and put that back. And opportunity, and let's see if it gives locations. It's interesting that this one isn't as, remote. There we go, remote preferences. There we go. Thanks a lot, Jeannie, for having good eyes.
You're
So
welcome.
there's the remote. Okay. So this one actually, even though I put in Seattle, is bringing up Berkeley. So you want to make sure. So anyway, as you can see, some websites are very easy to navigate. Some you've got to do a little bit searching, and hopefully if you have someone else helping you, that helps. So again, I'm not going to show you all of those right now, but those will come to you. And so other ways of finding ideas, whether it's jobs or volunteering, talk with friends, relatives, former coworkers, current coworkers. Again, go to Facebook in your local community. My neighborhood, so I'm in Seattle, huge city, but in my particular neighborhood, which is about 10 minutes from downtown Seattle, we have our own blog. So if you haven't checked to find out if your city has blogs by community, I would sure do that. So I would just either put in, so my community is West Seattle, and we actually have jobs here, and we actually have volunteer for this. So see, what comes up first is volunteering today in my community. It gives everything from a police blotter to lost pets. So if you haven't checked that out, definitely just do a Google search of maybe your neighborhood or your community and see what you have, because it's the best way. Also, maybe with your city to see if, just look at your city blog, but definitely try your neighborhood blog. So one of the things you're going to need a resume. And so I'm going to also send you these links. I recommend taking my resume class, my interview class. Those are, I'm going to also send you the information on how to find those. But if you put in my name, Christine with a K, and then my last name, K, you will be able to find these. So I'm going to send you, these are websites that have information on how to do resumes, how to do interviewing if you need it right away. So you'll get those links. So our summary for today is, hopefully I've given you some information on how to find remote opportunities, what you need to consider, your availability, your interests, and also, is your home where you live ready to take on a remote opportunity? I've given you lots of ways to search for either jobs or volunteering, and that you do need to be prepared to apply with a resume. You're going to be asked to have dates when you worked, when you volunteered, etc. And you also need to be prepared. You are definitely going to go through an interview. Most likely, you're going to go through a background check. So this is just thanks for coming. Please, we like feedback. Here are some other things that are related. There's an interest group on volunteering. I have a class on community connections. There's a profile, a LinkedIn class, and then also the resumes and interviewing, and also do a journaling class. So you will be sent an email, and please, you'll get the notes, the links. Please provide feedback. We want to know, is this class, did it answer enough of your questions? What did we leave out? Please let me know if anything you want to communicate to me, the guide. And then it also provides a space to give feedback. What classes do you need? What else would you like to see? And then you can now invite a friend when you're registering for your class. So definitely do that. If you'd like to host an interest group, you want to suggest a class, you're working with organizations that you think would benefit from what we do, please let us know. Or you want to request this session, you just send to help@getsetup.io, which will also come with the email. So is it Jesus, somebody has a question?
I had a comment. When you were showing the Idealist link and picking in remote, one of the things that could be, it was a slider, I believe, whether it was, or a checkbox, was it temporary remote? And it was checked. And that's one thing that anybody who's looking for a job or an ongoing volunteer situation, if you're looking for something that's definitely remote and going to be 100% remote, make sure they're not just saying it's remote until, for the next couple of months until COVID opens up and everybody goes back to the offices. Because that's one of the things I'm hearing through the grapevine with people I know who are working right now. There's a little bit of concern about going back to work. There's some companies are changing their work remote model. And some people aren't happy with these hybrid approaches. They think they should be able to work from home all the time. So I have a LinkedIn profile. I get approached by recruiters continually for job opportunities. I'm not looking to go to any of these places, but there's a lot of them that'll say remote during COVID. So just make sure you're upfront with who you're looking and talking to, that it's going to be either permanent or you don't mind going into an office, or it could be a combination of, sometimes in the office and sometimes remote.
Jeannie, I really appreciate that advice. So that's a really good point. Is it virtual permanent or is it just temporary? So let me just see. Anybody had any questions in chat? Or do you have any questions now? Anyone have anything they'd like to ask? Okay, so Michael put in the chat to follow up on some of the classes that I mentioned. I will also include those. Oh, Francine, okay, got that, okay. Great, thank you a lot, Eva. So anyway, if you don't have any other questions, Marv, you've joined us. Welcome, nice to see you.
Yeah, I have one other thing. I don't know if Bob is still doing it. Bob was doing a working remotely class on how to set up like your desk space and that kind of thing. I know you touched on a private area and all that stuff, but he went into a little more detail technically on how to do that. So I would suggest people, if they want to work remotely, to take that class. He gave some very good hints.
Terrific, Jeannie. I appreciate all of your tips today.
You're welcome.
That's Bob Cohen, who teaches lots of great classes. And definitely in the search box on the left side of our website, there's a search box there. And if you put in Bob Cohen or you put in remote, that's a great idea. Be looking for those because it's real important, even for your interview, that wherever your space is that you're being interviewed, that it's ready, that you want it to look professional, or that you use a background so that you feel that, you definitely don't want it to look like.
And if you are meeting with somebody and it's not Zoom, you may not be able to have the flowered background like I have.
Right.
I judged a debate tournament over the weekend and it was using a different product, and I had everything set up, and it was where I've got like three different spots in my house where I can work. That the camera's not going to get a lot of background. Well, PC camera was a wider angle. And it's like, oh, look at that big pile of boxes on my shelf over there. So I needed, because I couldn't turn a background on.
Yeah, so that's really important. Even for an interview on Zoom, make sure whatever space you've chosen, it goes with the same things. You know, that your family, your pets are all taken care of. Your background is okay, because just as Jeannie shared, she thought she was all set, and then they used they didn't use Zoom, they used something else. So just make sure, whether you're doing it on the phone or you're doing it on Zoom, that your space is ready for you to come across as a professional, and you're ready to be available to them.
And I'll just make one more comment about pets. When I was working from home, actually working, my cat didn't bother me, because I was sitting at a desk, I was sitting on a laptop. But when I did other Zoom calls and I was sitting more casually on the sofa and just had my iPad, she constantly photobombed. So,
Which, yeah, for most things, I love watching the pets. It's just interviewing, we're nervous enough, or the interview definitely wants to know that your situation is in control. Thanks, Jeannie. I appreciate that. So anybody else, any other questions, any comments, anything you'd like to share? I really appreciate your coming today. I hope this answered some questions in a short period of time, and I've given you'll get the follow-up email with lots of resources. We have lots of other classes that are longer that can expand on them. So I'm just really delighted you all came, and I hope you got some good ideas today. So thank you. Marv, is there something you wanted to share with us today?
I did. Thank you, Christine, for letting me take a small portion of your class here. And I want to say hello to all of your learners. One of the things that brought me here, folks, is the founders of Get Set Up want to see if they can facilitate some kind of gatherings where people can make friends. I'm talking about Get Set Up friends now, because we feel that they're all kind of a little bit like mind. They all enjoy these classes. They have fun. But I think that there's a segment that really would like to reach out and make friends, and they just not too sure how to do it. So that's why I'm here talking to you. We would like to see if any of you folks would really want to make some friends and join some classes where that's what it's about. You probably have a topic, you might have one like resumes might be a good one to talk about, but instead of having the guide like Christine, who does a great job, obviously, I just noticed that for sure. But instead of having somebody do that, it would be more on it's more of a facilitator where you'd be talking to each other. You're finding out about each other. Maybe Francine, I'd say, Francine, how long have you lived where you're living? And how did you get to that wonderful beach that you are on over there? I can see that on it. But folks, that's what it's all about, making friends. I'm going to pull a little downer on you here just for a moment. I'll bring it back up. But my mother, she was president of this club, chairman of that. She was very, very outgoing, very outgoing. She passed away at age 92. When she was 83, I said to her, I said, hey, Mom, I said, anything I can do to help? She had severe arthritis and she was losing her eyesight through macular degeneration. She said, Marv, she said, no, I wish there were. But she said, I'm losing one friend a week, guys. Now, you're going to lose your spouses if you haven't already. You're going to lose your loved ones, your friends. It's just a fact of life. But if you can get together in these interest groups or gatherings, whatever you want to call it, you can make friends, good quality friends, Get Set Up people. And you can share your experiences with them along with have a topic there. But it doesn't have to stick to the topic the whole time. You can share experiences that you're having with your cat, your dogs, all different types of things, a vacation, and then come back to the topic. It's just a casual gathering group. And I kind of call it the friendship circles with a basic topic. You folks probably have belonged to bowling leagues or card clubs. That's where you made friends. When you first went in, if you only knew one or two people, okay. But by the time you got out of there, you knew the whole group, the whole league. on it. And that's what I'm hoping that we can form here with you folks, but I need to have input from you. I can't do it alone. I need to know that you have interest and you want to join things like that. So in the chat, I put down other classes that Christine teaches. I also put down a little information about her, which I thought was pretty cool. She is a traveler. Oh my gosh, she's a traveler on it. We're going to miss you if you're, no, we're not going to miss you. You can still have the class, right? On an
Yep.
iPad or something like that. Oh, the digital world. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely.
So cool. So you can, that would be cool if you could show people pictures of where you are as well as teach your classes. That would be fascinating.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, guys, I also
Yeah.
put in, besides the information about Christine and her other classes, I put my email in there. And I hope I will hear from some of you and say, yeah, I like the idea. I'd like to make some friends. I'd like to just kind of socialize with the people from Get Set Up. That's mainly what it would be. So I'm gonna watch my email. I'm gonna stay up until 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. No, I'm not.
Just
I am
waiting
gonna
for-
watch my email though, and I hope I hear from you. And we have the resources to help you get set up. And I would be more than delighted to be in the class with you to help you get started on it. We would need a host. I get that, but I'm sure some of you would more than volunteer, because this is a volunteer class, to be a host. So that's all I wanted to say. Christine, thank you for allowing me to take some of your time here. And folks, I'm going to go watch my email right now. I hope to hear from you.
Okay,
Marv,
thanks. Nice to see you,
it
Marv.
looks like, yeah, it looks like they've started one class, Come Make New Friends, that's on the schedule.
Yep.
So
And this-
if they could do some more of those, that would be-
Absolutely.
I think
Yeah,
that-
we want to
do
get
it.
a bunch of them. That
Yeah.
way you can jump from one class to the other and make more friends. It's going to be fabulous. I think the idea is very good and I hope it works. But I need people to say, sure, I want to do it. If you don't want to do it, well, that's a different thing. But I think a lot of people truly would love to make friends. I'm talking about virtual buddies, folks. I'm not talking about where you share your deep, dark secrets and your funguses. No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just talking about being buddies, virtual buddies. Okay, Christine, you can have it. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
thanks, Marv. Again, thanks all of you for coming. Please check the website. There are new classes going almost every day, and I look forward to seeing you in other classes that I'm teaching, or I take classes myself. So have a wonderful Memorial Day. Thanks to any of you who are veterans. We're grateful to you, and please definitely keep coming and keep taking classes. So thanks so much, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you too, Christine. You
Thank you,
provided a
too.
lot of good
Bye-bye.
Thanks
information.
for a great class.
So
Thanks.
good.
Great class. Yeah, very good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it. Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Jeannie, thanks for all of your tips.
Oh, no problem.
I appreciate it, especially the guiding to that website where I couldn't see
Well-
it. So thank you.
Well, yeah, well, it's like in 2010, I lost my job of 23 years to a workforce reduction. And I was able to use a outplacement service. So I learned a lot through them.
Yeah.
And at the time, that was really bad with the economy, at least in Michigan. And there was a lot of resources available. So anything I can share with anybody, it's like I'm more than happy to pay it forward, because I did like 4.5 years of contract work before I found a direct hire position. But
you know what this is like. So I'm glad you came today, because you had so much to share. So thank you so much.
oh, you're welcome. I hope I didn't step on anything
Oh,
that you were.
no, absolutely
talk
not.
about
No,
everything.
more tips. Absolutely. This is why we do this. We know that everybody has a lot to share. So absolutely, I'm grateful you shared it. Thank
Okay.
you so
All
much.
right, you're welcome.
Have a wonderful day, everyone. I hope
You
you
too.
have good weather and a great barbecue.
Yeah, it's beautiful out there. I think I'm gonna go
Yep.
do some errands and get
We're
outside.
supposed- Seattle's supposed to almost hit 80 today, so it's going to be an amazing day.
But yeah, we're up in,
You all
we're in the-
have an amazing
we're in the
day.
upper 70s. So.
Yeah. Thank you.